Caliban, cannibal, Caliban, a savage and deformed slave. It all sounds pretty dark, pretty villainous. And Caliban's behaviour is certainly open to question. He threatens to rape Miranda, and he participates in the rebellion, the uprising of the workers. He joins with Trinculo and Stefano in a plot against the royal characters. But he has these lines. Be not afeard, the isle is full of noises, sounds and sweet airs that give delight and hurt not. Sometimes 1,000 twangling instruments will hum about mine ears, and sometimes voices that if I then had waked after long sleep will make me sleep again. And then in dreaming the clouds methought would open and show riches ready to drop upon me, that when I waked I cried to dream again. Stefano and Trinculo, the other rebellious lower class characters, always speak in prose. Prose is the language of ordinary people. Verse is traditionally the language of the higher class people. You wouldn't necessarily expect Caliban, the slave, to talk verse, far from it. And certainly not, surely, to speak the most beautiful lines of poetry in the whole of The Tempest. These lines, which are musical in themselves, and are precisely about his capacity to hear music. The exchange occurs when Ariel, the airy spirit of the island, is creating airy, unearthly music. What did music mean to Shakespeare and his audience? Music is enormously important in his culture, enormously important in his plays. There are, of course, many songs in the plays, but there are also other moments of instrumental music. The man that hath no music in himself, says Lorenzo in The Merchant of Venice, nor is not moved with concord of sweet sounds, is fit for treasons, stratagems, and spoils. The ability to hear music and to appreciate the concord, the harmony of music, is seen as a sign of being fully human, of being civilized, the very opposite of being a savage and deformed slave. This little book here is a treatise called The Praise of Music, wherein, besides the antiquity, dignity, delectation, and use thereof in civil matters, is also declared the sober and lawful use of the same in the congregation and church of God. It was written in the 1580s in defence of the use of music in church. The Puritans, who didn't like statues, paintings, graven images, play performances, also didn't like music. They liked a pure faith of the word alone. So there was a big debate about whether it was appropriate to have music as part of worship in the way that music had been for centuries in the Catholic Church. But the author of this treatise, although moving towards that particular religious argument, along the way gives many glimpses into what the Elizabethans thought about music more generally. They had this belief in the so-called music of the spheres, the idea that a kind of cosmic harmony coming from God came via the sound, the harmonious concord of the different spheres, the planets of the heavens interacting with each other. And the treatise in praise of music, of its dignity, suggests all kinds of things about what music can do. One chapter is called The Suavity of Music. Suave, not meaning like our sort of modern sense of a little bit too slick, but rather meaning suasive, persuasive, having a power to change you. In this chapter, music is compared explicitly to poetry, to philosophy, to a sense of harmony with nature. Man is naturally delighted with music, it tells us. And there are many quotations from the Greek and Latin classics giving examples of the power of music. Beasts are delighted with music. Horses delighted with music. birds delighted with music, even fishes. The idea that there is a kind of natural music, a natural harmony. This is what Caliban is hearing. And then the writer goes on to speak of the effects of music. And music is said to have all sorts of very good effects. It keepeth men chaste. Well, that's a question, whether Caliban really has been kept chaste by his music. Music maketh courageous. Music maketh pleasure. Music moveth pity. It allayeth anger. It cures disease. It drives away evil spirits. It cures madness. All sorts of respects in which music is regarded as the full height of what it is to be human, to live in harmony with the world, in some senses to be in touch with God. So the fact of giving Caliban music, even as he does participate in treason, stratagems and spoils, which the line from Merchant of Venice suggests is incompatible with music, really does reveal to us something of the complexity of Caliban's character, as well as opening a window onto the importance of music in Shakespeare's theatre and in his world.